What is up? My name is Chaz. Today we're going to check out with Scream 1997 Kill Count by Dead Meat. So let's hit it.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James St. Janice, and today we're looking at the seminal horror film Scream, released in 1996 by Freddy Krueger creator Wes Craven, who also directed the 3 Scream sequels before passing away in 2015. It's hard to overstate the impact Scream had on the horror genre. It reignited slasher flicks, spawning a whole host of late 90s imitators, and set the tone for the genre.
Scream is my favorite horror
After
movie.
Scream, horror would take on a certain feel. It'd be funny, hip, and most importantly, self-aware.
What's your favorite scary movie?
With that line and the countless references that followed, Scream told its audience that the characters they were watching were just like them. They knew about Jason and Freddy and Chucky. They knew the so-called rules of the genre. Then Scream told them that knowledge wouldn't save these characters. They were going to die anyway. And how many were going to die? Let's find out and get to the kills. The movie begins with a phone ringing, and when Casey Becker answers it, she's greeted with the sexy voice of an inquisitive stranger.
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
Thinking it's a wrong number, she hangs up only to have him call back. And this happens a few times until they're chatting like old college buddies about their favorite scary movies. Eventually, Casey gets creeped out, and the stranger goes from sexy to scary.
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
He tells her he's outside her house and has her boyfriend Steve tied up on the patio. Then, since he wants Casey to kill it at Bar Horror Trivia Night, he starts drilling her on questions about the genre.
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
And since the kill count wasn't around to give Casey a proper education, she wrongly answers,
Jason!
I'm going to watch Friday the 13th,
As
Part 3,
punishment, she turns the patio
1982,
lights
Kill
back on
Count.
to see that Steve's
Okay?
been gutted. His
On next
intestines
video.
dangling in the breeze as he dies. I feel like people often forget about this.
Holy
It's a pretty simple one
crap.
to start the movie
That's
with.
bad.
When she through the window in a flaming tray of popcorn, shit's totally hit the fan now, and after a well-crafted cat and mouse sequence, Casey makes a run for safety when she sees her parents on their way home. She doesn't quite make it, though, with Ghostface catching up to her and stabbing her in the chest and choking her on the ground. Casey still fights back, but unable to call out to her parents for help, Ghostface knocks her down and finishes the job. Her parents overhear her dying breaths on the phone as Ghostface drags her away, and they ultimately find her body strung up on a tree, her insides dangling down just like Steve's. Audiences were shocked that Drew Barrymore was killed right off the bat, and that's just one part of what makes this entire opening sequence an instant classic. Hard to beat this kind of kickoff. Next we meet Sidney Prescott, who's into MS-DOS, and her super fucking oily boyfriend, Billy Loomis.
Billy
Seriously,
Loomis.
what's that hair?
I hate
They're having
that
some
guy.
intimacy problems because Billy wants to get it in, but Sidney isn't feeling it. Probably has something to do with the fact that her mom,
Come
Sidney
here,
Prescott, was
pervert.
raped and murdered 1 year before this. So yeah, Billy, maybe some things are more important than getting a nut off. Everything is crazy at school the next day, with local reporter Gail Weathers reporting in her finest dirty highlighter-colored dress. Sid's best friend Tatum catches her up about the murders, and Tatum's brother Deputy Dewey helps interview Sidney in the principal's office. Principal Himbry's all like, "Hey, let me touch your chin all week."
Oh my god, it's funny.
Thing that happened to her mom. After school, Sid and her entourage hang out by the town's tribute to the Friends Fountain. In addition to Billy and Tatum, there's Tatum's boyfriend Stu, played by Matthew Lillard, who gives it 110%, and Randy Meeks, the geeky guy who's obsessed with horror movies. They treat the murders with about as much respect as high schoolers treat most things.
Did you really put her liver in the mailbox? Because I heard that they found her liver in the mailbox.
Liver alone.
That's funny. I'm not laughing at that.
Oh, liver. It was a joke.
Sydney goes home and takes a little couch nap until she's awoken by a phone call with our sexy boy stranger.
Scary night, isn't it? With the murders and all, it's like right out of a horror movie or something.
Then the movie just fucking goes for it and has him attack her in her own home. He almost gets her too, but she fights back because, as we'll find out throughout the series, Sidney Prescott don't take no shit. She does run up the stairs.
Oh, crap.
however,
Run,
despite
bitch!
A long-winded criticism of that trope in horror movies.
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act. She's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
See how self-aware this movie is? She locks him out of her room
yes.
and hits up 911 on her computer, which I guarantee not a single damn person did in 1996, before Ghostface suddenly disappears. He does that a lot. Billy shows up at her window with some excellent suspicious timing and then drops a cell phone. Since this was before we ever had a term like smartphone addiction, Sidney is frightened and confused by Billy's technology, and he gets arrested under suspicion of being a witch. I mean murder. Gail Weathers shows up a bit too late for any action, and we find out she is not a very nice lady.
I know that you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now!
Oh,
Sheriff
fuck
interrogates
you.
Billy and his werewolf-looking dad, and the whole thing becomes a media circus, causing a confrontation between Gal and Sydney, during which Sid brings up the book Gal's been writing about her mom's murder.
I'll send you a copy.
Oh, a KO
For
punch.
safety, but gets another call from Ghostface, leading her to conclude that Billy is in fact an innocent, sweet little boy. The next day, Sid and Tatum go to school, with Tatum wearing an outfit that just, like, is that allowed in a high school? Sid talks to Gal again, this time without punching her in the face, and in a series of uncomfortably close shots, Gal tells Sydney that Cotton Weary, the guy currently in jail for Maureen Prescott's murder, is an innocent man. Sid's left uncertain, but Gal vows to exonerate Cotton.
If I'm right about this, I could save a man's life.
Maybe Gal isn't so bad after all.
Do you know what that could do for my book sales?
Never mind. Sid has a pretty rough go of it at
God, I
school,
hate
with
that
people
lady.
running through the halls wearing Ghostface costumes, Billy telling her to just get over her mom's death,
It's been a year.
some bitchy cheerleader talking shit about her in the bathroom, and then finally
Oh,
getting
no.
attacked by Ghostface again.
Run,
This
bitch!
movie never lets Sydney be safe for even a minute, which I actually really appreciate. Principal Himbry doesn't take too kindly to all these shenanigans, so he takes the pranksters from earlier and is all like, "Hey, you're expelled." He plays it
Oh my god, what's with that?
Too on the nose reference. Not your friend. And
Oh,
then
that
Ghostface
Chandler
shows
is
up
Freddy
and stabs him
Krueger.
a bunch of times in the
Nice.
Henry Winkler does his best. Hey, I'm dying. Face.
Oh my god, you please stop, dude.
It's pretty traumatizing seeing the Fonz get killed like that.
But it's
As an
pretty
adult,
funny,
kinda
but
watching Barry Zuckerberg
I love
play
that.
dead. He's very good. With school out and a curfew in effect, Stu plans to have a party because the best thing to do with a serial killer in town is to get a bunch of high schoolers drunk. He chats with Randy at the video store, telling him that he suspects Sydney's dad is behind all the kills, while Randy freaks out about how the killer could be anyone.
Everybody's a suspect!
Okay, dude, not so loud, alright? Randy's money is on Billy, though, who pops up and grabs him by the shirt. He and Stu get all up in Randy's grill, touching his face and being weird and acting exactly like you'd expect a serial killer to act. Night comes and everyone heads to Stu's party at his giant fucking farm mansion. It's so bumpin' that even Gal and Dewey are there, making eyes at each other so effectively that Courtney Cox and David Arquette ended up married in real life after meeting on this film. In movie, it turns out she's using him, though, to get inside the party and plant a camera in the living room. Yeah, Gal, maybe it's not the best idea to be in possession of hidden camera footage at a drunken high school party. Stu, who's wearing this pimp-looking party hosting robe, tells Tatum to go get a
Stu?
beer. On her way back inside, the door's locked, and when she
Oh,
goes to
no.
use the garage door, Ghostface shows up. She
Oh,
treats
dear
his presence
Lord.
pretty casually until he slices her
Oh,
arm with his
God.
knife. Then we get to
Oh,
see
my
Ghostface
God.
do this hilarious pratfalls. First, when she
Oh, God. Run,
then while
bitch.
she's throwing
Run.
beer bottles at him. I suspect that this alone inspired Scary Movie.
Yeah,
Look at
throw
that robe
beer at
waving
him.
frantically around.
Oh, that's
With
oh,
the
that's
door locked,
amazing.
Tatum tries to escape through the doggy flap in the
Scary
garage door,
movie.
but Ghostface starts up the surprisingly powerful.
I freaking
garage
hate
door
that
motor.
movie.
Tatum, who's apparently
Reference
stuck
like
in the door because
Last
of
Summer
booze,
and
is lifted all the way
Scream.
up to the ceiling.
God, I
and
hate that movie.
This may be the single most memorable kill from this movie, and it's certainly the most creative one, unlikely as it may be. Ghostface caps off the scene with a subtle moment of humor as he sneaks back into the party. As the party dies down and a bunch of people leave, Billy shows up, much to the dismay of Randy. who's
Oh,
crushed
that
hard on Sydney.
guy.
Here goes my chance with Sid.
As if.
That's all I'm saying.
As if.
They talk about their feelings and other boring bullshit before Sydney decides that she's ready to have sex. Meanwhile, Randy, Stu, and a bunch of no-names watch Halloween on VHS, and Randy explains the rules of staying alive in a horror movie.
Number 1, you can never have sex. Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. Number 3, never, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back.
They're interrupted by the news that Principal Himbry is dead, so everybody except Randy runs off, almost hitting Gal and Dewey in the process, who jump into a ditch and use the opportunity to finally just make out already. Jeez. They also find Sydney's dad's car, and since he's been kind of a suspect this whole time, they hold hands and run back to Stu's house. Sydney and Billy are cleaning themselves off after sex when Ghostface shows up and stabs Billy in the
Yes!
chest about.
Finally!
Escape
God, I
from
hate
the
that
first
guy.
window Where Ghostface knocks her
Oh,
down.
no, no,
Both
no,
in the
no.
driveway.
Oh,
Finds
thank
Sydney's
God.
body
Oh,
stuck
thank
in the
God, she's
garage
safe.
and runs off to find help. Meanwhile, Randy's still vegging out
Oh,
on the
thank
couch
God,
watching
Randy's still
Halloween.
alive.
Ghostface comes up behind
Oh, no.
him, giving
Look
Jamie
behind
Kennedy
you.
the
Look
opportunity to be
behind you.
super
Look
extra
behind you.
meta.
Jerry, look behind
No,
you.
look behind you.
Jerry, turn around.
Before Ghostface kills Randy, he gets distracted by Sydney screaming for help. The only person around is Kenny, Gal's cameraman, but before he can be of any use, Ghostface slits his throat. Sorry, Kenny, you didn't
Oh
deserve
my
the
God.
abuse you got from Gal, and you never lived long enough to do that sweet Silent Bob cosplay you were always talking about. Sydney escapes Ghostface through this fun-looking van tunnel, and now everyone's just scattered to the wind. Sid's running around, Dewey's back at the house, and Gal finds Kenny's blood on her van. When she goes to call for help, she gets surprised by Randy, who she beats down with the phone. Then she tries to drive off, but she gets distracted by Kenny's blood on the windshield and his body on the roof of the van, as well as Sydney running out in the middle of the street, which causes Gale to veer off and crash into a ditch. No Dewey to make out with this time, Gale. Sydney comes back to the house to find Dewey stumble out the front door with a knife in his back. Sucks, Deuster. Ghostface follows and attacks her, trapping her in a police car where she tries to call for help. When Ghostface attacks Sydney again, she fights back, escapes, and he disappears. Which is a sentence I've said like 5 times already this kill count. Sydney grabs Dewey's gun and isn't sure who to trust, Randy or Stu, before making an equal opportunity decision.
Stu.
She locks them both out of the house, and then she sees that Billy is still alive. Cool, just don't injure yourself any further, Billy. Okay, yeah, just... Alright. You good? Billy lets Randy in the house, and then here comes the twist. He shoots him! Bam! Jamie Kennedy down. What's up with that, Billy?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Was that a reference?
Anthony Perkins, Psycho.
Okay, we understand you guys know horror movies. You're being a little extra. Billy
Yeah, you're right,
reveals his blood is
James.
corn syrup, and Stu shows up and shows off the voice changer they've been using to make their voices all sexy. And then they spend a good long time mentally torturing Sydney in the kitchen as they reveal everything, starting with the fact that they were the ones who killed Maureen Prescott.
That woman was a slutbag whore who flashed her shit all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
Yeah, we put her out of her misery, because let's face it, Sydney, your mother was no Sharon Stone.
Billy explains that Sid's mom was sleeping with his dad, which caused his mom to leave his family. They framed Cotton Weary for Maureen's murder, just like they plan on framing Sydney's dad for all these murders. To seal the deal on their alibi, they agree to have a little fun time stab around, although Billy takes it a little too far. Now, this scene is when Matthew Lillard throttles his performance into the red zone. Sometimes it works,
I'm feeling a little woozy here.
and sometimes it doesn't.
Because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have the sequel.
But I think it works more often than not, so thank you, Mr. Lillard, for whatever that is that you're doing. They get interrupted by Gale Weathers, who now has Dewey's gun, but when she forgets to take the safety off, Billy kicks her out onto the porch.
I know there's
Doesn't
7
kill her
deaths
there,
in this,
though, because
in
he's a
Scream,
huge fan of
the
Friends and
original
just
Scream
needs
movie,
to see
but-
if she'll end up with Chandler in the next season. Sydney takes the opportunity to get away, teasing the killers with a
I don't
phone
know, it's
call,
fine.
and really pisses off Billy.
Fucking hit me with a phone, Dick.
See? That's how it works. One more.
My mom and dad hit me so much.
Yeah!
That's
Billy
funny.
down with an umbrella before Stu charges at her, and they have a little wrestling match. She eventually subdues him with a vase to the head. And
Shut up, you fucking dog!
It's funny how this kill wouldn't really work nowadays.
Sorry
with all
about that.
light-ass LED
My dog's literally
See,
barking at
Technology
that.
makes us safer. Randy comes to just in time to get punched in the face by Billy, who tackles Sydney and raises his knife to stab her before getting shot by Gale, who, really, Billy, you probably should have killed out there on the porch. Randy tells them about the classic horror movie ending trope.
Careful. This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
And Billy's finally killed with a gunshot to the head by Sydney, giving us our 7th and final kill of the movie. You'd think there would have been more, but most of the time, Ghostface was just attacking Sydney and letting her get away. Also, all the fake-out deaths don't help the body count, such as Dewey, who's revealed to still be alive and on a stretcher at the end of the movie, which closes with a report from Gale Weathers and a crane shot of that awesome house. And just like that, the horror genre changed forever. Let's do the numbers. 7 people died in Scream. Kinda low for a slasher.
Yep,
but
I
this
was
more
right.
about the
7
whodunit
deaths.
Anyway. Of the victims, 5 were guys.
You want to watch
only
the
2 were
original video?
girls,
The link
with a
will
2-to-1
be
gender
will be in the
imbalance.
description
With a
down
runtime of
below.
111 minutes, we only had a
God,
kill
what's
on
been
average
made.
every 15.8 minutes, but at least you got to hear a bunch of horror references during all that downtime. The Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill goes to Casey. I really like Tatum and Stu's deaths, but Casey sent me running from the TV when I was 7, and it's still one of the best starts to a horror movie ever. The dull machete for lamest kill will have to go to Principal Himbry. A couple of gut wounds and an off-screen finish just don't compare to the other kills here. And that's it! Released in 1996, Scream is probably one of the most important horror movies ever made, and that's a fact whether you love it or hate it. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next week for Scream 2. Until then, I'm James H. Deese, and this has been The Kill Count. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching the Kill Count episode for Scream. As always, I'd like to thank Bloody Disgusting for posting my videos on their site. I'd also like to thank a couple of my patrons like Daniel Kopnick and Cameron Steele. To support me on my channel, you can check out my Patreon at Dead Meat Jane. There's actually a button for it right over there. Just go ahead and click it, baby. It's alright, it won't bite. Hope you guys didn't get too much whiplash moving from Friday the 13th to Scream. See you guys next week.
Alright guys, so that is it. Scream in 1996. Kill Count by Dead Meat. So you want to watch the original video, the link will be in the description down below. So I'll see you guys next time. I hope you subscribe to this channel and like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.